Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here.
And I'm Abe.
I'm Jay.
Josh too.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to Leprechaun Month. We're in day 3, and the film I'm going to be reviewing for you today is the third film in the Leprechaun series, Leprechaun 3 from 1995.
Las Vegas, a gambler's dream, and a dreamer's paradise. They're all about to meet their worst nightmare.
Look out, Vegas. I'm taking over!
Now, the Leprechaun's back in the city that never sleeps. And he will never rest until he reclaims his pot of gold.
Belongs to me, this gold I smell. Whoever's got it's going to hell. I want me shilling.
Hello? If we destroy the gold, we get rid of the leprechaun once and for all.
Leprechaun 3, the third time's the charm.
Leprechaun 3 stars Warwick Davis, John Gaddens, Lee Armstrong, Caroline Williams, and is directed by Ryan Smith. The plot of Leprechaun 3 is Scott, a young college student, loses all of his money in Las Vegas. When he decides to pawn his Rolex watch, he ends up finding one of the Leprechaun's gold shillings. Now, before I get on to my positives and negatives, the previous 2 Leprechaun films I've seen before. This one is the first time I've seen it. I wasn't sure what to expect out of it. I mean, I kind of did, because, this series is by no means a great... each film in this franchise is by no means a good movie. Not at all. They're cheesy, they're just... there's not, even by definitions, a decent movie. But I kind of have a guilty pleasure with them. I mean, especially with Warwick Davis in these movies. He's a ton of fun in these films. But anyway, let's just get on to my thoughts. Now, for me, one of the positives I have, again, is Warwick Davis as, our little green bastard from hell, the Leprechaun. He's a lot of fun in these movies, actually. In fact, that's the one thing a lot of people could get behind in these movies, is Warwick Davis in this role. Sure, it's not scary or anything like that, but at least he's really entertaining. At least he's really entertaining in these movies. And it seems like he's having a, freaking ball. You can tell he's having fun with his performance, it's almost like, you can definitely tell it's ooh, I get to go to work today, probably says that in his Irish accent, his Irish accent for the movies, it's oh, I'm gonna get to work today. I think that might have been Italian, I don't know, but if I got that nationality accent wrong, I do apologize to the people of Ireland and the people of Italy. But he's a lot of fun in this movie. And speaking of fun, they try to make this not horror or anything like that. This is the one film I feel really found its footing as far as what kind of tone they wanted to go with the series. Instead of having remotely any form of horror elements in it, it's a downright comedy. Actually, it's comedy. It's it tries to have fun. It really does try to have fun with this one, more so than even the second one did. But you can kind of start to see the change of that with the starting with the second one. But here it's it's full blown what it should be. It's just a comedy. And honestly, I found to have more fun with this than I did with, say, something like the original, because of the fact that it embraces the silliness of this idea. Also, another positive I have, surprisingly, is that the 2 main leads in this movie are actually likable. At least compared to the other main leads in previous ones, like Jennifer Aniston, and also, I forgot the actors' names, but especially more likable than Bridget from Part 2. Both the main protagonists, Scott, and his love interest, Tammy, is a lot more likable. Even though their acting is kind of flat at times, which we'll get to that in my negatives, but I did actually bought their chemistry more than I did with, Jennifer Aniston and, whoever was that one guy. I also did buy more than, Cody and Bridget, that's for sure. And I think the reason for that is maybe because this time the actors around, because of the way this film is written, they're able to have fun with this movie. Because that's how the film is designed. It's meant to be a fun kind of comedy movie. So yeah, I actually did like these characters. I mean, especially when you compare them to the main protagonists in the other films. Like for me, beforehand, the only main lead or leads I at all kind of somewhat, grown somewhat attached to was Ozzy in the first film, Mark Holton's character, and Morty from part 2. And also, this film does have a fun setting for the Leprechaun, and that's Las Vegas. They really take advantage of it, at least I think more so than they did with, say, something like Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan Part 8. It really does take more advantage of its setting. And honestly, it's a very fitting place for Warwick Davis's Leprechaun, with, the greed and everything like that. It's just more fitting for him. Honestly, I think he found a perfect place for him outside of, Ireland. So, he definitely seemed like he was at home with that. Both the character and the actor. Also, they kind of take some interesting stuff with the lore of Leprechauns in a fun way. I'm not sure if this is really true as far as what they brought up as far as stuff with leprechauns, but one of the things is that apparently leprechauns love to eat potatoes. That's just funny and kind of in a ridiculous way, but it's kind of charming that way. And I think this film has probably some of the most memorable moments in the franchise, especially certain memorable death scenes in that, which there are some actually. Oh, and another positive I have with this film is that sometimes, there's some of the reactions that happen in this film are more natural and believable than, let's say, even the other films. For example, our main character Scott, after only meeting Tammy for a couple hours, and then after winning a gambling set because he, used a gold coin, one of the Leprechaun shillings, to wish that he was on a winning streak, and almost it's to her, as far as his earnings, and that's I want to share it with you, she's she's shocked, she's, and not in a good way, it's kind of freaked out of it. That's actually good reaction there, that's how anybody would react, especially after meeting somebody and only knowing that person for let's say several hours. But honestly, for me, those are my only positives. The acting is still not good, aside from Warwick Davis. He's just hilarious in this film. But for the most part, the acting, especially from our two main leads, are completely flat, dull. But at least they seem to have fun. I would give them credit on that, like I said in my positive. Also, another negative I have with this film is it's still a low budget movie. Which, here's the thing, I'm not against low budget. I'm low budget. In fact, not just low budget, I'm zero budget with my films. But you could end up making a no budget film look like a higher quality film if you really so choose to. And this, you could tell it's a low budget film. You could tell. Also, the music this time around as well isn't as memorable. I think the most memorable music is really from the first movie, which is the biggest thing one of the biggest things outside of Warwick Davis that I think the first film is known for. And outside of a few kills, Pogo Stick, Death, and that. I feel like the best music is from the first movie, that's for sure. This one is kind of forgettable. And again, I would like to emphasize that these are not good movies or even decent films in any way. These are pretty bad films. Although I would say they're definitely not the worst films I've ever seen. Because I consider these a guilty pleasure film. like to point that out in my negatives. So with that said, I'm going to give Leprechaun a free out of 5 stars. Now again, like I said, the Leprechaun movies are not good movies, not even decent movies. But the reason I gave it that list is because honestly, for me, it's probably the most enjoyable film I've seen out of this franchise so far. Because of the fact that it really takes, like, embraces its silliness and everything, and just goes for it. It just goes for it. You know, like for me, I probably would watch this over the first 2 films. So, but to be honest, I do have somewhat of, you know, kind of, like, these films are definitely guilty pleasure films for me. You know, so far. Again, these aren't in no way even decent movies, but, you know, these are films that I find that it's in the so bad it's entertaining category. And I just kind of like the whole, you know, and just really like a lot of films that have, you know, deals with Ireland or any of the Irish culture stuff, because, you know, for me, I'm actually have somewhat of Irish in me, actually, so I have some bit of Irish, like, in me, so I guess that's where it stems from. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and did I mention that I want to be gold?